Oh, hello and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him, and we are going to make you guys some money. We're going to be going over previewing every single game to the Week 5. But let's pull up the board right now, and let's make some juicy gambling bets looking at the Week 5 slate. Already a quarter through the season. I'm having a great time. I hope all of you are as well at home. Thursday night football, just an awesome game. You know, a game we'll be talking about for years after this. The hopeless Chicago Bears, who kind of purposely blew a lead, it felt like, last week. They finally had Justin Fields have a good game. The defense has yet to have a good game, and they just seem to turn the ball over at the worst time. Going in to Washington to play Sam Howell and the Commanders. Commanders being 6-point favorites at home against the Bears. If I had to lean in any direction, I would lean to the Bears side of things, just taking the points on the road. There's a lot of points, even when we're talking about the Bears. I don't think the Commanders are a team that's good enough, and I don't think they have a home field advantage that's good enough to give them a full 6 points. But I'm laying off this game. I don't love it that much. Mr. Spenser, what are your thoughts on the Bears and the Commanders?
Yeah, it's really a toss-up. It could go either way. It's just two. I mean, the Commanders are obviously a better team, 2-2. They're producing more numbers. They're producing higher stats. So I just kind of want to go Commanders because I think the Bears are just falling apart.
Okay. Is that an official pick out of you, Spenser, or is that a lean?
I think I'm gonna go Commanders. Okay. Official pick.
So Spenser picking Thursday night football, and that's what you're gonna get when you're watching this show. You are gonna get picks on Thursday night football. Where else are you gonna get stuff like that? Mr. Andrew, what are your thoughts on this game?
I look at this line. I see Commanders -6. Tells me Vegas is screaming for you to take the Bears, which means I am taking the Commanders with the mini bye. I think this gives a chance the Bears to fire Eberflus because the Bears have quit. They are the worst run franchise in all of sports, and they're going to get their shit pushed in this week. I'm taking the Commanders -6.
Okay. Commanders in a blowout. Honestly would kind of fit in with all the primetime games we've had outside of both of the Lions games this season. They've all been trash. I guess the second Lions game wasn't that great either, but I enjoyed it because I'm a Lions fan. Anyways, Mr. Miles, what are your thoughts on the game?
We often talk on this show about how when a game is really, really good, you don't want to bet on it because you can just sit back and enjoy the game. And being that it is October 3rd, we are officially in horror movie season. This is like when you watch an intentionally really terrible movie and you just want to sit back and enjoy it. Don't bet on this game. Just turn it on, have some beer and popcorn, and watch like essentially what is the Three Stooges version of football happen in front of your eyes.
This is really a campy football game.
Yeah, I'm going to put the over-under. I'm going to bet on the over for 3 players slip on a banana peel.
Okay. And Miles, you will be in studio live streaming this game with me, correct?
Sounds like a plan. I'll bring the bananas.
Great. It's a great promo that you just pulled for something that we agreed to before before the episode started.
I
James,
thought Dallas was playing this week. I'll be honest with you. I looked at the calendar wrong.
James, what
I think I totally agree with you. This line is atrociously bad. I don't like it. I don't want to be near it. I have gone off script here and gone with the Commanders team total of over 25.5. They scored 31 on the Eagles last week. I think this team can put up some points, but I also think they could have some points put up on them. They've got a good defensive line, but that secondary, those linebacking core. I don't know. Maybe Justin Fields just has some crazy scrambles and scores. I would feel confident that the Commanders will come out of there with more than 25 points, more than 26 points, and probably a lot more than even 30 points. So I like that number of 25.5.
Okay. So that's 3 bets on Thursday Night Football. Gotta love it. Nobody crossfiring yet. I am very happy with just sitting back and just watching that game. Moving on to our second game in the morning time, 8:30 a.m. Central. Jacksonville Jaguars stayed over there in London town, and they're playing the Bills. My knee-jerk reaction is the Bills are a fucking wagon right now, and they are going to snowplow the Jacksonville Jaguars until I think about it for a second. And then I'm like, the Jags have a massive advantage because this is honestly how they should run the London games or the European games. A team should fly out there. They should play a home game. And then next week they'll play an away game. And they stay there, and that's going to mitigate a lot of the travel stress that these players are going to go through. For that reason, I'm going to lay off the game. I think this line's pretty good because it is actually a home game for the Jags, so they are kind of probably getting 3, 4, 5 points in their direction with all the Bills' travel. The Bills, come off of a big emotional win against a divisional opponent in the Miami Dolphins when they were they felt like they were disrespected and they, kind of showed it with how much they dominated a team that just put up 70 on another NFL professional football team the week prior. Defense looked good, looked super competent. I'm not predicting a letdown performance for them here. I think they know what a tough matchup they have over there in Europe against Jacksonville Jaguars, getting 5.5 points basically at home. I'm laying off of it. If I had to lean in any direction, I'd take the Bills, but that travel is that scares me. I don't want any part of it. Mr. James, what do you think, buddy?
Well, I've been looking at the script for this week, and it does say for this game that Jonathan Allen will be victorious, but it is not the Jonathan Allen that everyone thinks. It is the one who's currently in London and has been practicing there all week. I'm going with the Jags, and I'm not just taking the line. I'm taking the money line plus 210. I think that is a high number. I think they have a big advantage with that travel. I think this team is rolling off of that Falcons win, despite the fact that it was the Falcons. I still like this team. I think this is a typical game for them to pull it out and have a nice W. And especially if you're getting plus 210, I think that's a great number to take.
Oh, okay. A money line bet. Honestly, I love it, James. I would way rather have the money line here because, fuck them 5 points. I just want the Jags at home, basically, over there. Miles, what do you think?
I think y'all are on crack. The Buffalo Bills are going to smash the Jaguars by at least a touchdown. The Bills could have to get off the plane and doing the 80 days or around the world in 80 days schedule. They would get off the airplane and still smash the Jaguars. 5.5 feels like a steal, a discount. Buffalo Bills 5.5 all day.
I love it, Miles. I love where your thought process is on a lot of these picks. You're just like, you know what? Let's not overthink this. Fuck the Jags.
Overthinking has never been my problem. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah, I love it. Speaking of overthinking, Spencer, what do you think about this game?
I was just going through the games played over the years in the London. The Bills don't seem to score very high when they go there, from all the stats I'm looking at. The Jaguars last time the Bills and the Jags played, and it was over 48. It was 6 years ago. It was in 2015. I think it's going to be under 48. That's kind of the money. That's the bet I'm going to take. I'm not big on betting, so I'm not going to use all the lingo that you guys know. But if I were to put my money on it, I would go under 48.5. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game at all.
Yeah.
Just looking at the stats of the years and the times the Jaguars have played, they don't score a lot, and the Bills don't score a lot when they go there.
I think that's a fine bet because all it really is going to take is one of those teams to struggle offensively, and I could easily see the Jags just getting kind of shut down. I think if the Jags win this game, it's going to be a low-scoring game either way. I love that. I love that bet out of you, Spencer. Andrew, what do you think?
I'm ready for our first parlay of the day. I'm taking the Jaguars, the points, and the under. If I know one thing from this early season, last season, the season before, the Bills are a team that tend to play down to the competition after a big win. They might win this game, but it's not going to be by very much, and they're not going to score a lot of points. They're probably leaving for London, Friday, maybe? I guess Thursday.
Yeah.
But, I just see the Jaguars kind of covering this game.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they party a little bit too hard staying over there in Europe town for the whole week. the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have a lot of picks already, and we're just 2 games into the slate. Let's get to noon, why don't we? With a barn burner, the New York Football Giants, a Brian Daboll-led team, playing the Miami Dolphins, getting 11 points in Miami. I think it's going to be a little bit of a colder weather game in Miami this weekend. That is a lot of points in a game of football. The Giants have been embarrassed a couple times already. Daniel Jones never really plays well in prime time. We've seen him, I think, twice in prime time, or at least I think against the Cowboys, they were like game of the week, America's game of the week or whatever.
Yep.
Oh man, I really feel like the people that are betting this game haven't really seen the Giants succeed, even though they've kind of looked competent at times this season. The weather on Sunday is a high of 86. It's not going to be overly hot. It's a high humidity of 70 degrees. I don't think that is going to be that big of a deal for the Giants. This is Brian Daboll. This is Brian Daboll's chance to say, hey, we're gonna make this season respectable. They're not going to win. They're not going to come close to winning, but they don't need to come close to winning. All they need is a little backdoor score to scooch in the backside. I think the Seahawks are a little bit better than we think. I think the Cowboys are actually a really fucking good team. They've blown out the Giants. Miami's obviously also a fucking good team. But I don't think that defense is really good enough to cover 11 points. And for that reason, I'm going to make my first pick on the Giants plus the 11 points. James, what do you think about this game?
Oh man, I don't know about this one. I think this one's going to be a brutal one. I see some rain on the forecast Monday, Tuesday in Miami, and if nothing would be more Florida for that rain to come in a little earlier. I would probably, if I had to lean, I'm going to lean the under 49.5. I think this one is probably going to see a lot of just regression from the Giants. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to throw in a lot more runs, probably just try and run it down the throat and not score a lot. So I would go with the under here if I had to lean, but I don't really like this at all. It's definitely not on my board.
I think if you do like the under, you also kind of sprinkle in a classic Andrew parlay and just take the Miami Dolphin or the Giants plus 11 and the under, because that way, like if the Dolphins score, fewer than 20 points in this game by chance, like you're going to hit both. So I like it for that reason too, if you were going to do a good old-fashioned parlay. Miles, what do you think, buddy?
My first thing I need to say is my advice is to never take advice from me. My second piece of advice, take a high-interest loan, put it all on the fucking Miami Dolphins.
I love it. I knew you were going to do that.
Take as much as the bank will give you at the whatever percentage rate they agree to. Put it all on the Dolphins. It's going to change your life for the better.
I love it, Miles. So that's going to be your best bet of the day, obviously. If you're,
I want to know what the interest would be on a loan taken on a Friday and then paid all back on Monday, like 2 cents.
Yeah, I don't even know if it has enough time to accrue that interest. I
don't think so.
Take your house to the pawn shop, I guess.
That's
Spenser, what do you think?
Good thing my house is on wheels. That's going to make it easy.
There's 2 reasons for why I'm going to pick what I'm going to pick. Number one reason is if there's rain, they're going to run the ball. Miami has like 16 running backs. They're never going to get tired. They can all produce. They're going to score and keep scoring and keep running and keep scoring, especially if it rains. And the number 2 reason is Saquon Barkley's out, Cole Beasley out. So they have nobody to score points. I'm going Miami Dolphins -11.
Okay. Another bet on the Dolphins, -11. And then who needs a pick? Mr. Andrew still?
I'm taking Miami. All I needed to hear was Spencer saying, Mr. Cole Beasley's out. If you're relying on Cole Beasley in 2023,
that's what I was thinking.
I'm taking the point.
Listen, no, don't get Cole Beasley was an animal last year, and he won me a ton of games. But yeah, he's definitely aged out.
Yeah, never a good sign when your massive offensive weapon that you're really going to miss in this game is Cole Beasley. I was thinking that exact same thing. That is pretty funny.
I just noticed he was on the injury report, and I thought it was funny. I thought he retired.
Speaking of retirement, I think maybe Bryce Young should just retire because he's not looking great so far. The Carolina Panthers are coming into Detroit, and they're playing the Detroit Lions in a game of football. The Lions are -9.5.
I got to cut you off for a second.
Game.
I got to switch phones. My phone's dying.
Okay.
I'll be back in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. We'll pick you up whenever you come back. My heart really wants to bet on the Detroit Football Lions -9.5 here, but that's just a lot of points for a team to cover, even at home. Just feels like the Panthers are going to figure out a way to score in this game against the Lions. Maybe a little bit of a letdown spot coming off of a big win at Lambeau. We saw them come out a little bit soft last time against a big road win against the Chiefs. So for that reason, I'm going to lean the Lions. No chance I'm going to touch the Panther side of this. I'm just going to lean the Lions and lay off of this game. Love that I don't love a lot of games so far in this slate. James, who does love a lot of games so far in this slate, what do you think about this, Lions and Carolina Panthers?
I'm with you on this one. I would lean the Panthers. I think as much as you dislike Bryce Young, I think he is slowly getting better, and I would suspect that this game he might have a little bit of a step. I would think he does a little bit better. I would lean the Panthers, but I'm definitely not.
Okay, love it, Miles.
This is one that I don't really feel confident enough to bet on or recommend a bet on, like I obviously did on the last one. But I really want to believe in the Lions this year. It really feels like they're clicking. I think this will be one of those test games where we kind of see, like, is this legit? I guess like maybe, three strikes and you're in this case, because if they did it against Kansas City and then against Green Bay and then they do it again against the Panthers next week, it's like, okay, these Lions are something to contend with, but 10 points is a lot. I'm going to just watch this game and not bet on it.
Yeah, just feels like a game that's going to be a little bit closer than it should be. Andrew, what do you think?
I want to take the Lions. I'm going to hold off because I made too many bets already. But I mean, my mind's telling me this defensive line just annihilated Green Bay. Just pushed them into Jordan Love's lap. What are they going to do with the Panthers O-line? That's even a worse offensive line. Like, this guy could get sacked 10 times on Sunday.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But that's kind of best case scenario, because then Andy Dalton comes in. That's the best that Carolina Panthers team has looked with. The Red Rifle throwing the ball around the field.
Yeah, I guess that's the worry, right? They get up big, they knock them out, and then Andy Dalton backdoor covers. So,
yeah, you never want to get backdoored by Andy Dalton. So, yeah, I love that we're all kind of off this game. Game that I'm going to thoroughly enjoy watching, so why would I even bet it in the first place? Moving on, still here at noon. We're making a great time so far. The Baltimore Ravens are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Pittsburgh, no longer Heinz Field. It's something else nowadays over there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
French's Field.
I think the Ravens are a wagon. Kenny Pickett is coming off of a knee injury. Oh, they're at home. It's going to be a raucous environment. But the Baltimore offense really held up well against probably the best pass rush, maybe the second best pass rush in the NFL against Cleveland last week. Myles Garrett, had a couple of plays, but that's Myles Garrett just for you. That defense for Baltimore, despite all their injuries, looked really good against the Browns. Granted, they had DTR filling in late notice for a soft play out of Deshaun Watson. Not usually his MO. Andrew, don't make the joke. But I'm going to take the Ravens, maybe an overreaction. They're the kings of the North in the AFC, and I think they're going to easily cover this 4.5. Ravens -4.5, my second bet of the slate. Andrew, what do you think about this game?
I'm loving the Ravens. I'm taking the under too, another parlay, because I don't care if Pickett's in there or Trubisky's in there. There's no way the Steelers scored more than 10 points in this game.
Ravens -4 and the under,
Mm-hmm.
which is 38. That's a really, really low under. And honestly, Andrew, that's going to be a tough parlay for you to hit because the Ravens have to win by 4, which means they have to hold the Steelers to like 14 points or something like that.
They're not going to score 14 points. They might score 10 points. Maybe. I mean, they probably kick 3 field goals. Maybe. This is one of the worst offensive teams in the league.
Yeah, Matt Canada still in charge there. Feels like everything is falling to the ground.
Right now, if we take out the 2 defensive touchdowns they scored against the Browns, how many offensive touchdowns has this team scored all season? 3?
Yeah.
I think they've scored 3 in 4 games. They've scored 3 offensive touchdowns.
Yeah. You can't feel super confident betting the Steelers, except for Mike Tomlin. He beat the Browns, in earlier this season. But man, I think the Ravens are just too hot to handle right now. I think Lamar Jackson's really finding his groove at this part of the season. Feels like that offense is getting a little bit healthier as well.
Mm-hmm.
They moved the ball extremely well against the Browns with a good pass rush, and that is what the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is. I just think matchup-wise, it's too good to pass up for the Ravens. James, what do you think?
Oh, I completely agree with you. You've almost talked me into this bet. I might have to ask bet my slate, but I totally agree. Ravens -4 makes it. Mitchell Trubisky is back there. They won't even get 3 points. So, Ravens look great on this.
Yeah. Depending on who, I don't even care who plays quarterback. Honestly, even if Kenny Pickett finds a way to play with that knee, I like it either way. Miles, what do you think?
Ravens -4. I don't really trust the game enough to know to try to even attempt to bet on the under or the over. I think the Ravens win, but I'm not really sure how that's going to go down.
So is that a lean, Miles, or is that a recommendation?
I'll just lean on this one.
Hell yeah. Lean on me, baby. Let's move on. And we got Spenser back in the fray, joining us now at the bottom of the screen. I don't know why we can't see Spenser for the moment. Spenser, can you hear us?
No, we don't have me. I'm all kerfuffled.
Oh, boy. Well, while Spenser unkerfuffles himself, we are going to move on to the Houston Texans playing the Atlanta Falcons. The Texans are +2 points over there in Atlanta. That Texans defense looks good. CJ Stroud looks incredible. And what have we seen out of this Falcons team? They have gotten absolutely blown out in games like against the Detroit Lions, who have a solid run defense and a really good passing offense. That's kind of how the Lions ended up beating them in that game. They just held them to a few points. They passed when they needed to, and the Falcons really had no answer. The Falcons flying back home. That's a long flight from London all the way back on a pretty short week, going Sunday to Sunday. Doesn't feel like it's accounted in the line at all. I don't think that stadium is going to be tough to play in at this point of the year. The Falcons have ties to Pat McAfee, but that's not going to be enough for me to get me on the Falcons. Houston Texans +2 might end up being my favorite bet of the slate when it's all said and done. I'm not going to claim it's my best bet so far. I want to hear what you guys say first. Andrew, what do you think?
I'm taking the Texans all day. The Falcons, I don't care how good Arthur Smith is as a game planner or play caller. You're not going to do anything with Desmond Ridder, who is probably the second worst quarterback in the league. I don't know. Maybe he might be the worst quarterback in the league. He's just, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, especially after we saw out of Mr. Wilson over there in New York against the Chiefs. It kind of
real quick. Did you watch the Disney Plus telecast, the Toy Story telecast?
Dude, I watched it for like 3 seconds, and I'm like, yeah, this is honestly as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm gonna flip it back. What did you think, Andrew?
it was much funnier to watch Desmond Ritter struggle as a Toy Story character than it was in real life. Because it was just like, oh man, this is so cute. He's so bad at this game.
made it more palatable.
I woke up in time to catch the fourth quarter of that game, and for what it was, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Miles, what do you think about this game? Houston Texans Falcons.
I feel like the Houston Texans I'm a little surprised they're given the 2 points, honestly.
Yeah, it doesn't make
I feel
sense
like
to me.
they're way on the rise and Atlanta is even arguably on the fall. So big time bet on the Houston Texans on this one.
Yeah. What do you think, James?
Yeah, the best part of that Toy Story broadcast had to be Booger McFarland continuing to use the other play-by-play commentator to demonstrate different football moves, such as stiff-arming him to the ground.
That was fucking hilarious, dude.
He said, "We're not doing any more of these examples. This is done." So that was a great part. Yeah, I'm totally Team Texans on this one. I'm hammering this one. Plus 105 is what I'm going to take. I'm just going to take the money line. I think it's way better than a coin flip. I think Texans should be around minus 125, minus 130. So plus 105 is an amazing number. I'm taking that for sure.
Okay, so we got James with the money line on the Texans. You love your money lines, buddy. I'll tell you what.
I do.
But I respect it. I got Houston plus 2.5. Miles, did you recommend Houston?
I did.
Yeah, you got Texans plus 2, and we're all lockstep Texans plus 2, which is obviously a bad sign. So be aware of that game. Moving on, getting close, getting almost towards the end now. Actually, believe it or not many 3 p.m. games coming up. The Saints and the Patriots. This game, I don't want to have anything to do with. I don't know what quarterback I'm getting out of the Saints. I don't know what team I'm getting out of the Patriots. Maybe this is a meth game for the Patriots where Bill Belichick, after getting embarrassed, just kind of figures out a way to turn it around. Maybe they get Steve Belichick on his Adderall prescription again, and they just spend some sleepless nights. And now that I'm thinking about it, definitely betting the Patriots minus 1.5. Because this is a Bill Belichick meth game. They are going to be staying up all night after Bill Belichick's worst loss of his career. There's no way that they are going to have a chance, the Saints in this game, whether it will be, and Spenser rejoins us. Saints have no chance. Derek Carr looked horrible with the shoulder injury. It's an AC joint. That's not something that's going to get better. And if we get a Jameis Winston against a Bill Belichick defense, that is really good news if you're me. I love the Patriots at home minus 1.5. Why wouldn't I? The Saints stink. James, what do you think?
Oh, you might have talked me into this. I have to go check.
I talked myself into it.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Belichick does one thing great, and that's hold grudges against people. And I think he's got a grudge against his entire team last week. So I would not want to be in that locker room this week. They better win, is all I'd probably say. So, yeah, I think I'm going to add the Patriots. I'll take the minus 1.5.
Okay. So we talked James into it. That's never a good sign when I start talking James into bets, especially with the week I had last week. Andrew, what do you think?
I'm staying away. I'm staying away from this game. There's just my heart's telling me New England's definitely going to win, but then I saw Mac Jones play last week, and I don't know. I don't want any part of this game.
Just don't watch. Just don't think about it.
Yeah,
it's just Bill Belichick. That's all you need to know. Spenser, what do you think?
Mac Jones had one bad week. The rest of them, he's looked like an average player.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Patriots minus 1 just because Jameis is going to throw interceptions. Derek Carr's a pussy. Rashid Shaheed probably going to get an 80-yard touchdown, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, I agree. It's just going to be like a one. They just need one score. The Patriots defense against they're not good against good football teams, but against bad football teams, I think this Patriots defense with Bill Belichick, who will be on crack all night, staying up, trying to figure out the tendencies of the New Orleans Saints. That's why I'm kind of picking the Patriots. I'm getting flashbacks to Steve Belichick, like obviously on cocaine on the sideline, which means next week we bet against the Patriots because they're going to have a hangover week like they did that year. Moving on to the Tennessee Titans and the Colts. The Colts at home, -1 point to the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans team who's been on top of the world at times this season and on the bottom of the barrel for certain games this season. Just don't know what you're going to get out of either of these teams. Way too much of a variation with the rookie quarterback over there in Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson. Love him in fantasy. Don't love backing him all that much in a game like this against a smart head coach in Vrabel for the Tennessee Titans. I'm laying off of this one. Spencer, what do you think?
I haven't really taken stock in the Tennessee Titans this season, so I'm not too up to what they're playing. But I just believe in my Colts. I'm gonna take the Colts, just to win. I don't know what the money line on that is, but just to win, if that's an option.
Colts
I don't like
line,
the points. Yeah,
I'll allow it. The Colts money line for this game, you're only buying. It's basically pick 'em anyway. So you're getting 118. That's totally fair. Taking that money line there. James, it sounds like you agree?
No, just on the coin flip there. I got a -110 in my book, so make sure you shop your lines, kids. I would probably lean Titans as well. I don't know how Anthony Richardson's going to be. He excites me and he scares me all.
Yeah,
like your
another
crazy
reason
ex,
just to sit back.
You had great times with him. Yeah, it's like a crazy ex. You had great times with her, but you don't want her coming around too often. So I would probably lean Titans pretty much.
You just want to put her up on your TV and just watch her do work without any money involved. Andrew, what do you think?
Someone who owns Anthony Richardson in 4 fantasy leagues, I'm staying away. It's a roller coaster. That guy's a roller coaster. Like, I love him, but also he's kind of like a garbage time quarterback. Against Mike Vrabel, I'm nervous. I'm staying away.
Miles?
I lean Colts with the 1 point, but it's just way too chaotic of a bet.
Yep, I agree. Moving on to our 3 o'clock games. Only 4 of them this week. We've only had 3 of them the past couple of weeks. Been kind of shitty, honestly. Only having 3 games to watch. Philadelphia Eagles going into the Rams, potentially with Cooper Kupp. They might be sitting Cooper Kupp. I don't know.
I don't think Cooper Kupp's going to be back this week.
You don't think so?
I think he gets one more rest at the very least.
So they said that they were planning on starting him, but with how well this team has been playing, I love the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are a bit of a wagon right now. With the way that defense has been playing, and obviously that offense has kind of gotten its groove back after kind of a disappointing week 1 or so in a weather game. I'm laying off of this one. This line feels pretty spot on to me. Rams at home. They do have a little bit of a home field advantage because they won a Super Bowl in that stadium. I like the Eagles a lot, but because I don't know if Cooper Kupp is playing, and I don't know kind of what capacity he's playing, I'm going to lay off of it. Spencer, what do you think?
Eagles like tight games. They for some reason they like when they just like to barely win.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go Rams +4.
Okay. So Spencer's on the Rams +4.
I think the Rams will lose, but they'll win +4.
Keeping it close. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way too, but just because I really actually like the Eagles. I think that game was a lot closer than it probably should have been last week. There's a lot of weird things that happened in that game that made it look a lot closer than it was. But the Rams are a good football team, and I like that. I like them to keep it close, especially if they have 100% Cooper Kupp sitting in their back pocket. Andrew, what do you think?
I like the Rams this week. The Eagles have a weak secondary after losing C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Avonte Maddox went down. I mean, they seem soft. It seems like a big Poku, not Poku. What's his name? The rookie.
Nakua.
Puka. Yeah, give me heavy Puka stock. I think the Rams are going to cover this game, so I'm going with them.
Okay. All right, so Andrew is on the Rams +4 as well. James, what do you think?
I lean Rams on this one. Looks like Greg Olson is on the commentating team, which probably means the NFL script wants the Rams to flip it around. So I'll go with the Rams +4 if I had to lean here, but I'm not betting it for sure.
Can I recommend a prop bet for this game? I'm going to take Dallas Goedert over reception yards, and I'm going to take him to score a touchdown this game. Big bounce back for Dallas Goedert after an absolutely atrocious production-wise. Even
You're
in
looking
points
at
per
2
first
catches
down.
for 28 yards.
Nope, he's going to have a big bounce back week playing the Rams, who's pretty soft against the tight ends. Yeah, I like Dallas Goedert in this one. Miles, what do you think?
No bet. If I had to, I'd go with the Rams covering the 4, but I think it's gonna be too tight to judge.
Awesome. Moving on to the Bengals playing the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a good team. They're playing at home. They got some juice. I'm taking the Cardinals +3. Joe Burrow's not right, and Joe Burrow is really the only redeeming quality of this Bengals football team. The Cardinals are playing great. They're playing fiery. They now have their starting quarterback's jersey in the team facility, like you can buy at the pro shop, a Josh Dobbs jersey, which is always good.
a good start,
Guy doesn't
yeah.
have eyebrows. Guy doesn't have hair, but
They get in the
man,
way of his touchdowns.
They really do. He can just throw the fucking football, and he can run, which a multi-dimensional quarterback against this Bengals team, I feel like you're just paying a massive tax getting Bengals -3 here. Why would you like them that much in this game? The Cardinals defense, not great. Definitely the weaker part of this team. Rookie Michael Wilson on the offensive side of the ball, though, is playing great football. And Joe Burrow and this Bengals offense is just putrid at the moment. Why would they be able to cover 3 points on the road against a on-the-rise Cardinals team, maybe an average team, which is a surprise leading up into the season? We thought this team would be, a dumpster fire, and it really hasn't been. Seems like they're a well-coached team now, and just seems like they're on the upward trend where the Bengals season is hanging on by a thread, and it's just about to get snipped out from underneath them. I'm taking the Cardinals, which will probably be my last bet of the slate, +3 at home. Mr. James, what do you think?
I'm with you right there, Cardinals. I went with the money line +140, but I love Joshua Dobbs. Love what he's been doing. Very happy with him. I think Budda Baker probably picks off 1 or 2 this game, so I think Cardinals have it pretty easy here.
Yep, Miles.
I feel like everything you said is 100% accurate. There's a part of me that is hesitant because the Bengals feel like this time bomb that maybe just out of the blue, Joe Burrow is going to get it together on oh shit, I remember how to play football again. And then everything goes well. And the Cardinals seem like the type of team historically that type of shit happens to. But with a +3, it's hard not to feel really confident about the Cardinals with the way things have been going so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would bet Cardinals +3.
So Miles also Cardinals +3. Andrew.
Before the season started, you had, we didn't realize that Joe Burrow's calf would be such an issue. We knew Jamar Chase was going to be an absolute fantasy bust. We called that, if you subscribe, you need to avoid him and draft CMC instead. And now that T. Higgins has been afflicted by voodoo dolls, his ribs are broken, I'm just going all in on the Cardinals. I'm taking them. I'm taking the Rams, and I have another underdog bet for a 3-team underdog parlay in the late games. It's going to dig you out of your hole.
A teaser out of Andrew. He's, you always want to be playing aggressive, digging yourself out of the hole whenever you have one bad week in gambling. That is good advice.
Every time.
Spenser,
Always chase your losses.
That's never caused any family trauma for sure.
No, chase your losses. You're
Use our promo code at DraftKings if you're going to do that.
Spencer, what do you think about this game?
All right. So in the 2 games where the Bengals actually scored more than 3 points, the final score was within 3 points. The one time they won this season, it was within 3 points. So that means I'm going to go Arizona Cardinals +3, just mathematically speaking.
Yeah, they haven't been able to cover a spread, and this Cardinals team is feisty. They're at home, going to have a good crowd
everything's
there.
pointing threes. I'm going to go +3 for the 3 good players on the Cardinals.
I love your rationale, Spencer. That's perfect. Moving on to one of the last games on our slate today, the Kansas City Chiefs, 3:25 p.m. Central Time, are going into Minnesota, a struggling team. This Chiefs team could not cover the spread last week. I think there might have been some shenanigans going on behind the scenes. We have not been able to confirm that Taylor Swift will be at this game. I doubt it. I doubt she'll be wanting to go to Minnesota in October to go watch Mr. Pfizer play a game of football. I'm laying
She's probably tired of seeing all the blatant holding calls not being called.
Yeah.
Or the phantom holding calls. She's probably just like, I can't watch this catastrophe anymore that is the refs.
That game smelled. I would like to think that game was just horrible officiating, but man, with that line that moved from 9.5 that we love, 9.5 minus 9.5 for the Chiefs, moved all the way down to 7.5 for no reason. Didn't make any sense. Line stunk. Feels like the script writers legitimately got in the back pockets of those referees that are making $30,000 a year to ref part-time for the NFL, and maybe grease some palms for that game, if I'm entirely honest. And I'm not even a conspiracy guy. That's just my thought. Spencer, what's your thought in the actual game?
I haven't been watching a lot of Vikings this year. I don't know how they're playing really. I know the Chiefs are doing good. The Chiefs got the corporation on their side. They got the Illuminati on their side. So I'm just going to say Chiefs win. Even if you go -5, I think they'll still win.
So you're expecting the Chiefs to cover. Andrew, what do you think?
I'm staying away from this game. One, the Taylor Swift factor. Two, the Chiefs just don't look that great. And, Kirk Cousins, I don't know what I'm going to get out of him. 2 pick sixes, I don't know. 3 fourth quarter touchdowns, I don't know. I'm staying away.
Yeah, it's not really prime time, so you got to like that if you're back on the Vikings. That's worth half a point, but not enough for me to get on the game. James, what do you think?
I would actually take Taylor Swift plus money on this one. Her next tour date is October 18th, so I would assume this is probably the last weekend that she can go to an NFL game before she has to start preparing for those shows. So I would say that she probably shows up for this.
Okay.
In terms of this game and the line, not very interested in it. I just feel like this is a trap game. Kirk somehow pulls it out of his butt. I don't know. I don't like 5.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. And then Miles, your last thoughts on this game?
Yeah, without knowing which side the referees are playing for this week, this game's too hard to gamble on. I'm gonna stay away from it.
Yeah, bitter taste in my mouth. Kansas City Chiefs never really been able to cover these spreads. Granted, they're always kind of heavy favorites for a lot of these games for the past 5 years, but I don't know. I don't want to bet it. I think the Vikings might hang around a little bit longer than a lot of us would like to see. If we're betting the Chiefs side, if you're betting 5.5. Moving on, last 3 games, the slot. New York Jets are going down into the toilet bowl, playing Denver Broncos, that defense has looked just absolutely atrocious. We're going to see how well this Broncos offense is going to perform against a good defense in the New York Jets. We are going to see if the performance that we saw out of Zach Wilson last week against the Chiefs, who really struggled to get pressure on him, which was bizarre to see. I would definitely start Garrett Wilson in this game against the Broncos for sure. I am not betting this game. You couldn't give me a free bet on this game. I'm not gonna have my heart beat elevated watching these two organizations play a game of football. James, what do you think about this game?
Man, I'm all behind Zach Wilson and the slogan of MILF. Man, I love football. I'm thinking this is a pure coin flip game, and when I see a coin flip and I can get plus money, I'm going to take it. So I'm taking the Jets plus 105.
Okay.
I think they pull this one out, and I think there's a little bit of value there.
So James is trying to extract 5 pennies of value wherever he can get it, taking the Jets money line plus 105. Good luck, buddy. I appreciate it. Miles, what do you think?
If you could just edit in everything I said about the Chicago Bears versus the Washington Commanders from earlier and just dub in Jets and Broncos, I feel the same exact way.
Yeah, not going to watch it. Andrew, what do you think?
Taking the Jets. I mean, if there's any defense out there that's going to make Zach Wilson look a little bit better than Zach Wilson, it's going to be the Broncos. I'm taking the Jets.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first get right game played against the Broncos this season. So far, we just saw it last week. Spencer, what do you think?
I got 2 points. One, Andrew, his phone is vertical, makes him look ridiculous. Just want to point that out. You look foolish. I would never get caught looking like that.
Never.
And then secondly, James, he has a voice of a guy on a podcast that does gambling. So I just trust what he's saying. So I'm going to pick what he picks because he just has every podcast I listen to. He sounds like every guy that gambles, and his wife hates him because they have no savings. So I'm going to go with what he picks, and I'm probably going to be upset by it.
I actually can confirm that his wife at least sort of tolerates him when I'm in the vicinity. I actually have been in the room with both of them at the same time.
They're polite in public, but they have serious arguments over money.
That might be actually true, which is why it's funny. Who knows? Not going to try to speculate any further. But Spencer, you like the Jets money line. Plus 105, getting a little bit of extra juice over there in Denver. At altitude, at Mile High. Moving on to Sunday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys are going in to the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are minus 3.5. This will probably be one of the closest spreads that they see all season. Will this Dallas Cowboys team get to Brock Purdy? No, because Brock Purdy does a good job of getting rid of the ball quickly. They also have a great rushing offense. I feel like that's kind of what Josh Dobbs was able to do, is get the ball out of his hand quick against the Cowboys.
Micah Parsons is also hurt.
He's
got a shoulder. Yeah, he's expected, but he's got a shoulder injury.
He did look slightly less explosive when he was injured last week, and this is going to be, my sixth selection of the slot. But I can't pass up 49ers minus 3.5. Will probably be your last opportunity to get like a decent line on the Niners. They're an absolute wagon, showing no signs of letting up. It's going to be home. They respect the Cowboys enough to show up. Dak Prescott's just not going to be able to move the football on this Niners team, and the Niners are just going to be able to score with whoever they want. Brock Purdy leading the way. Even when he looks bad, the rest of the team looks great. I'm taking the Niners minus 3. James, what do you think?
I'm going to have to check the script again here. This game is going to have a Dak Prescott injury in it in the fourth quarter. Trey Lance is going to come in and absolutely tear up this Niners team for a win.
No.
What?
I don't like
That's
the 3.5.
the most wrestling script I've ever heard in football. I love it.
Is that Trey Lance's music?
Is that Trey Lance? I like the Niners.
You son of a bitch, he's got a steel chair.
The Niners over 24.5 points, plus 105. I think that's an amazing number. I think I agree with Jamie on this one. I think that the Niners are totally going to roll. But I do want to hold up that little bit of hope that somehow Trey Lance gets.
So you have the team total, is that right?
Yeah, team total over 24.5 at plus 105. I'm surprised they're giving me plus money at that. So I like that.
24.5 plus 105. Another plus bet out of you, James. I think went 50-50 last week, but ended up with a profit with all the money lines that you hit on. Moving on to Miles. What do you think about this game?
I'm thinking by 7:20 p.m. on a Sunday, you're going to be pretty drunk already. Put your wallet away. Enjoy what is likely to be the game of the week, or at least has the potential to be. I'm just going to watch this one, not bet on it.
Love it. Andrew?
I'm going to prop bet, actually. Christian McCaffrey scores a touchdown anytime. Probably the best bet of the week.
Anytime touchdown scorer again. I think he's on a quite the
13.
roll.
13.
Yeah.
13 straight games.
and he probably should have scored another one, but they tried to give the ball to Juszczyk. Anytime to CMC
Juice.
for Andrew. And Mr. Spencer.
This is probably going to be the ones I'm not going to bet on because it's either going to be a defensive game and nobody scores, or it's going to be an all-out shootout fest. And for what James says, I think Dak Prescott does get hurt, and then I think Nick Bosa just dances on his grave as well as dances on Trey Lance's grave, and then they just cry for Cooper Rush again.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be a big Nick Bosa game, but I think it could go either way. It could go high scoring or low scoring, and I have no idea, and I don't want to guess.
Yeah, that would be an interesting little sprinkle to get like a Nick Bosa sack over 0.5.
I think he gets two. I think he gets two.
Yeah, take it up to 2. Yeah, I love it. I think this feels like a Bosa game. This is prime time. You know he's gonna get the opportunity to sack Dak because Dak's gonna hold on the football, and that's kind of why I like the Niners here. I think that defense is gonna be too big of an issue for them. Everybody said something about this game. Cool. We're moving on to Monday night, the last game on the slate. Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers are favorites on the road, sort of, at Las Vegas. Vegas Raiders are a bit of a dumpster fire. If I had to lean any direction, I would lean towards Jordan Love -2.5, but it is on the road. You know, it's probably going to be more of a home game for the Packers in the Vegas stadium. But I don't like betting on this one. I like a lot more of the other picks. I'd rather invest that money into, for example, Cardinals +3 or Niners -3.5 instead of betting on this game. I just don't feel like I have a big enough stance on it either way. So I'm laying off it. I think the number's pretty good. Andrew, what do you think about the Packers and Vegas Raiders Monday night football?
I'm taking the Packers. I've been to that stadium before. The away teams travel like crazy. It could be 70-30 Packer fans out there. So, yeah, I'm taking the Packers. I have no belief in Jimmy G, O'Connell, or McDaniels. There seems to be a lot of talk in the locker room about people being disgruntled, about the team playing loose, undisciplined football. Okay, Packers should be getting healthy. I think they're going to have all their guys back except Bakhtiari. So, yeah, I'm taking I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah, well, without Bakhtiari, you do have to be a little bit concerned about Max Crosby taking the game over.
Crosby has been a menace this year.
Oh, he's always a menace.
He's just every year he's just becoming more and more of a. He's gonna end up having to add another X to his name. if he gets any better.
Max XXX Crosby. James, what do you think about this game?
Oh man, Las Vegas is in shambles. I'm not even just talking about the team. With the Formula One race going on right now, you can't even see the Bellagio fountain. So no chance the Green Bay Packers go out too hard on Saturday night or Sunday night. Unless Jordan Love spends about an hour standing in that sphere and loses his sight, there's no way the Packers don't win this game. I like them at -135. My only non-plus money line pick of the week is the Packers.
I'll allow it. I usually would not allow it, but like you said, you have recommended all plus bets this week so far. So Packers -135, not too bad of a vig to be paying there. Miles?
I feel like Jordan Love and the Packers will win this game, but I don't like the 2.5, and it's mostly because they have Devontae Adams on the other side of the ball. And even on a bad team, a player like that could disrupt a 3-point margin easily.
Yeah, and look at Josh Jacobs over there too. I just think this Vegas Raiders team is not nearly as good the more I think about it, but matchup-wise with Max Crosby and Josh Jacobs on opposite sides of the football against the Packers, kind of the weak underbelly of this Packers team, I would lean kind of maybe towards more of the Raiders 2.5, as gross as that sounds. Spencer?
Well, as the honorary Raiders fan, for one, I take umbrage to the 70-30 with our country's immigration policies. Raiders fans are going to come out in full force. I could say that I'm a Raiders fan.
Is that the same reason you do blackface?
Yeah, no. I do Mexican face. And that's just me going, oh, the Raiders suck again. And then I stab my neighbor. I honestly wish that that handsome Jimmy G would just stay concussed. I love Aiden O'Connell. I kind of wish he got more time to play. If Aiden O'Connell was playing in this game, I would go Raiders because I think Aiden O'Connell's got a big old sack of nuts on him, and I think he just wants to sling the ball. Whereas Jimmy G is just a check down. He's just Derek Carr light, which is hard to say because Derek Carr is light and he sucks. But I'm going to go with the under on it because I just don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Because I think it's mostly going to be Raiders. I think Raiders are just not going to score.
Under 40.
And I think Max Crosby's going to be disruptive enough that it's just going to be a low-scoring game.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Awesome. So that is our preview to Week 5, our look ahead, and our gambling selections. You know, I feel really, really good about my picks. I got Giants plus 11.5. I got Ravens minus 4. I got Houston plus 2. Patriots minus 1.5. Cardinals plus 3. Niners minus 3.5. I would read off everyone else's bets, but everyone else made like 10 bets apiece. So we'll just have to talk about it next time. Please subscribe to the channel. My name's Jamie Jakes. You can follow me at JAMJKS on Twitter and Dr. Jamie Jakes on Instagram if that is what you're into. James and Andrew are non-public figures as it is. So I'll let Spencer go ahead. Plug what you need to plug, buddy.
You can just follow me on Instagram, mostly at Spenser Oniell, SpenserOneil. That'll get you everything. Instagram's the only thing I really use. And if you check out shows, I do stand-up, moving to Austin in a month, so I'll be there a lot because I'll live there. That was a stupid thing to say. I'll be there almost like I live there. That's how much I'll be there. But if you want, more witty stuff like that, just follow me on Instagram. I don't do a lot of football talk there, but Twitter, I say inappropriate things and I don't want anybody to follow me there. So don't look me up.
Hell yeah. I do follow Spencer there. It's not that inappropriate, and we're kind of with each other on a lot of subjects. Anyways, Mr. Most Days Off, Miles Francis, what do you have to plug?
That's it, man. Mr. Most Days Off everywhere online. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and all the places. I'm about equally as appropriate/inappropriate on all platforms.
Hell yeah. He spreads out his inappropriateness to all platforms, even the ones he can get banned from for saying things, unlike Twitter. James, anything to say to the audience?
Stay and neuter your pets.
Hell yeah. And Andrew?
R.I.P. Green Door or Green Gator, or that old place you guys were hanging out at.
R.I.P. Green Gator. They had a pretty horrible run, but they had a run. They sure did.
They had a kid there reading my Twitter, so they had to shut it down.
On that note, I believe Miles is confirmed will be here in studio live watching Thursday Night Football with me. Anybody else want to join me?
I may come down. Work's kind of killing me right now. If I don't have to work late, I may come down.
Okay. So second half, maybe we'll see Spenser Oniell.
I'll scoot on
Andrew,
over.
Always past his bedtime. James will be a game time decision as well. But it'll definitely be me and Miles. Maybe some special guests will be calling in as well. My name is Jamie Jakes. Thank you, and good night.